What's up, G gang? It's your boy, What's Up, G. In this video, we're going to do a full breakdown of the Diddy indictment. We're going to go through some of the pages, read some of the main stuff, and we're going to sit here and react to it and talk about it because Diddy is in a diddler. He's in a situation. It ain't looking good for my boy. Let's get into it, y'all.
I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I be too early for my own good. So if you just caught the video I dropped just a few minutes ago, bro, my bad. As soon as I put that out, the indictment in this case was unsealed. So if you haven't heard, Diddy has been arrested. They arrested him in a hotel lobby in Manhattan. Right, in my last video, we went over all of that. And like I said, as soon as I put it out, the indictment was unsealed. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take a look at that indictment, everything that's laid out and alleged against Diddy, and see what we're working with. Now, I doubt that a lot of the lawsuits that have been filed against him is in this indictment. I don't know yet. I haven't read it, but I doubt a lot of the lawsuit stuff will be in here. However, I do hope that we find some new information. So here we got the document, United States of America versus Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love. And who in the hell is calling Diddy Love out here? Anyways, it starts off with count 1, which is racketeering conspiracy. And it says, for decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, as trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Well, goddamn. It says Sean Combs, the defendant, operated his business that was headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprise, and Combs Global, collectively known as the Combs Business. Corporate entities and in the Combs Business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, a spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network, and a media company. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs engaged in a persistent and persuasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of S activity with male commercial S workers, and at times Combs and others acting in his direction made arrangements for women and commercial S work.
Yo, I just think that's like so freaky. Like, you don't even want the women. Like, you want to get women and get them to have like a voyeuristic type situation with other guys. Like, you don't even want to do it yourself. You want to see them with other guys. Like, that's a 69 guy for real. Like, he really the 69 guy, bro.
To fly to Combs' location. Combs ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing substances to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Physical abuse by Sean Combs was recurrent and widely known. On numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years, Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at a Los Angeles hotel in or about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. And
that's the Cassie situation. So they were saying that they actually leaked that situation because they couldn't book him in LA. Now we find out that they did leak that situation because it's in the indictment.
About Cassie right here. When a member of the hotel staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff to ensure silence, and we heard about that. He apparently paid the hotel, I think it was like $50,000 for the security footage and for them not to tell anybody. It says Combs' violence was also not limited to these women. It extended to his employees, witnesses to his abuse, and others. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, used the Combs business, including certain employees, to carry out, facilitate, and cover up his abuse. Those employees, including security staff, household staff, personnel assistants, and high-ranking supervisors and other close associates, acted as Combs intermediaries, and their conduct was facilitated and assisted by Combs' control of the Combs business. So the way that kind of reads to me is
so he was using, so he had like a whole support staff for his freak offs. He had a freak off support staff. And with the hotel situation, it's crazy because the hotel staff got 50K and they still snitched on him. That's crazy.
That was involved, everybody that kind of covered all of this up. It seems to me like they're making excuses for those people, saying, oh, they were only assisting because Combs had control of the business and he was threatening to cut everybody off. But I don't think that's an excuse for any.
No, not that they making excuses. They making it a RICO. They making it a organized crime syndicate. for a RICO to happen, you need organized crime. So they're saying they got supervisors, bosses, assistants, all of them aid in making the S acts go down for Sean Combs, and Sean Combs directs it all. He's the leader of it all. That's what all that actually said. It didn't really have nothing to do with what he's saying right now. The narrator. It has more to do with saying he's at the top, and this is organized from the top to the bottom, and this is an organized crime, and he's the leader. And if we don't stop it, this organized crime that's happening to hundreds of people is going to continue on if you don't get rid of the leader. That's what's making it a RICO.
That was covering up his behavior, but that's what the indictment says. Now it says the Combs Enterprise, and it lays out what the Combs Enterprise is. It says from at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs and others known and unknown were members and associates of a criminal organization known as the Combs Enterprise. So right there, they're saying that his business was a criminal enterprise. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, as trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18 of the U.S. State Code, Section 1961, that states a group of individuals associated, in fact, although not a legal entity. The Combs Enterprise consisted of Sean Combs and entities within the Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs.
See, and you can see it right there, how they're tying it all into the business and making it an organized crime. You get what I'm saying? Like if they were selling, like say drugs or something like that, it'd be like a little more spelled out for you. You'd be like, oh yeah, they're turning the business. But it's the same thing if it's sex trafficking. It would be the same thing. It would be the same thing if it was X trafficking. The same thing. It's a RICO.
Enterprises and Combs Global, plus individuals employed by and associated with the Combs business and others known and unknown. The Combs Enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the Combs Enterprise. The Combs Enterprise was engaged in and its activities affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Combs Enterprise operated in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere. At all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs was the leader of the Combs Enterprise. Sean Combs and others known and unknown participated in unlawful and other activities related to the conduct of the Combs Enterprise's affairs. These individuals included certain Combs business employees, such as members of Combs security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and high-ranking supervisors, as well as other close associates of Diddy. Then it lays out the purposes of the Combs Enterprise. It says the purpose of the Combs Enterprise included the following: operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power, reputation, and brand of Sean Combs as a musician, entrepreneur, and figure in the entertainment industry. It was used for enriching members and associates of the enterprise, including its leader, which was Diddy, and in particular those who demonstrated loyalty to Combs and willingness to conceal his crimes. It says that another purpose of it was preserving, protecting, promoting, and enhancing the power of the Combs Enterprise, including the power of its leader through violence, use of firearms, threats of violence, coercion, and verbal, emotional, and physical and sexual abuse, fulfilling the personal desires of Combs, particularly those related to Combs' sexual gratification, including through the exploitation of women and the use of commercial sex workers, enabling Combs and other members and associates of the Combs Enterprise to engage in unlawful acts of violence, including sexual violence, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage the same thing, narcotics distribution, and other crimes, and the concealing of the commission of such acts. Then it lays out what it.
See, and that's going to be that's the part where they going to try to come for everything. The way that they tying it all into his business. Now they're making Bad Boy itself. See, they're not just going at Diddy. They going at Bad Boy. They going at his assets with that. They're saying that the whole company is a crime organization. So now you can tie into if you were doing crime in any fashion with this business, you can say that it needs to be liquidated. Stuff needs to be taken away from him. If he had a mansion that he would frequently have freak offs in, they can then take that mansion. No different than, like, say if he was selling drugs and you sold drugs out that mansion, they're gonna take the mansion from you. They ain't gonna let you sell it. They're gonna say that this is a part of a crime ring. They going at his assets. They're gonna end up going at Diddy's assets. They're gonna say all, because they're tying all of it in and saying that all this stuff is a part of a crime syndicate, a crime. They coming for Diddy. They coming for Diddy.
The means and methods of the enterprise, which is basically how the entire organization was running. And it says Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause the victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced as performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. Bro was on his Jeffrey Epstein with it. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasting multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial workers. During these freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of the victims engaging in these acts with these commercial workers. After the freak-offs were done, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Holy shit. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees.
And that's crazy because there's a video out there of Diddy the next morning having IVs in his arms, dancing and stuff like that, as if he just got done partying and he needed some IVs. But like, who just has IVs at their house? It was weird. You get what I'm saying? Like, IVs are in with like the bag and all that, with the little cart you got wheel around. That's in the hospital. He had it at his house, and it was weird. That's crazy.
Facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for the victims, commercial workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with the requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. This man was stocked up. He was ready to have more of these freak-offs, bro. That's crazy. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I don't have 1,000 of anything, not even dollars. Having 1,000 bottles of baby oil pre-supply ready to go is nasty work, y'all. Now, it continues. It says, Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to call the victims to engage in the freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victims' appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their household, and supplying them with controlled substances. During and separate from freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kick through objects at, and drag victims at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal, and that's something that we've seen with the whole Cassie situation. It says Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in the freak-offs. Victims believed that they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security, without repercussions in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during the freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including Combs' security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as drum magazines. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise enabled Combs' control over victims by following his directions regarding financial payments to the victim, advancing or suppressing the victim's career opportunities, and acquiring the controlled substances Combs used to keep the victims compliant. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise at times witnessed Combs' violence towards the victims or the victims' injuries caused by Combs without intervening. Instead, members and associates of the Combs enterprise helped conceal the violence and abuse by, among other things, assisting Combs in monitoring and preventing victims from leaving locations such as hotel rooms or Combs residences. And I ain't gonna cap, it sounds to me like right there, they're putting some blame directly on the security staff. Anyways, it goes on to say these occasions included instances in which a victim was required to remain in hiding, sometimes for several days at a time, to recover from injuries Combs inflicted without being publicly observed. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise also assisted Combs in locating and contacting victims who attempted to flee his abuse. And the way I'm reading that sounds like there may be some charges for people that were working with Combs. On phone calls, Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise, among other things, provided these victims and witnesses with a false narrative of events in an effort to conceal Combs' crimes. Combs caused these calls to be recorded on at least 2 occasions. Now, it goes on to lay out all of the things he's actually being charged with, which is multiple acts of kidnapping, multiple acts involving bribery, multiple acts of tampering with the witness or victim or informant, multiple acts under the forced labor law, multiple acts of trafficking, and pretty much everything that we have read in this indictment so far. Now, it goes on, the last part of this talks about forfeiture allegations, and it pretty much says that any money that he's made from doing any of this is going to be seized. And then it says, as a result of committing the offenses, that Diddy shall forfeit to the United States any and all property, real and personal, involved in, used, or intended to be used to commit or facilitate the commission of said offenses, and any and all property traceable to such property, and any and all property, real and personal, constituting or derived from the proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of the said offenses, including but not limited to a sum of money in the United States currency representing the amount of property involved in said offense, and proceeds traceable to the commission of said offense. Now, granted, the fact that they said they found a lot.
That part right there. It's that part right there. So they're saying they want to seize anything that came from the freak offs, but the freak offs are being tied back to Bad Boy ENT. So who knows where he was having freak offs at? Who knows? That could be his jets. That could be different mansions, different properties. That could be album sales from certain artists who were victims. That could be anything. That could be anything. That's coming for him. No Diddy.
Tapes, drugs, guns at his house in Florida, Miami, and Los Angeles, right? That's what they said. I'm assuming they're about to seize all of those houses, probably any cars that were there and anything else that was valuable there. Or they'll take money in the amount of what that property is worth. So they finna hit Diddy's pockets. That's gonna probably substantially impact how he's able to fight this case. Now, they do have some provisions in here for assets that they can't seize. And it says if any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold or deposited with a third party person, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided without difficulty. So pretty much those are the only things that are going to stop them from seizing.
No, that ain't they not saying this is where he wrong again. They not saying that's going to stop him from seizing it. They're saying that they're going to then substitute these properties or assets for money. So if they want to take a certain mansion or car and it can't be found without, like, it just can't be found, they'll take money, his money, for the same value of the property or object or whatever it is that they want. That's what they're saying right there.
Property, if he sold it, gave it away, or is just worthless. Pretty much anything else is fair game for the federal government. They finna start taking it all. It says it is the intent of the United States pursuant to Title 18 to seek forfeiture of any other property of the defendant up to the value of the above right forfeitable property. And then it is signed by the United States Attorney of New York.
And that's the end of it right there. But so yeah, that's what they basically saying. So if they can't find it or they can't have it how they want it, they're gonna take it out of his pockets. So if he tries to like put a house in his daughter's name, you get what I'm saying? They can't take the house, but the house is worth 1.5 million. They'll say, okay, just give me the 1.5 million then. Or if they say like, oh, you got 3 Bugattis in your name And we got pictures of you last year driving them in LA, but ain't none of your LA homes got the Bugattis no more. Where the Bugattis go? All right, they all 2022 Bugattis. They all worth 4.3 million together. Like, just give me the 4.3 million. We can't find the Bugattis. That's what they saying. That's vicious. They trying to get rid of my boy. You know what I'm saying? Or not my boy. They trying to get rid of the diddler. Yeah, there's no diddler love on this channel. All right, it's your boy. What's up, G? Don't forget to drop a like, comment. Comment: is Diddy done? Is the diddler cooked? Is he completely sauteed and flipped? And is he cooked? Sound like he cooked. All right. If ain't nobody told you they love y'all, I love y'all. Your boy. What's up, G? You know I'm gonna keep it G with you. I'm out, y'all.